Hello from me, Gabriel, a servant of Jesus Christ, not always obeying, but working on it. I am currently out here in my backyard. It is April 1st, April Fool's Day. It's a nice spring day. It's getting a little chilly, so I have my hoodie on. It's a little windy, so we'll see how it turns out on the video, but I've just been working on studying my Bible more and figuring out ways that I can be consistent in that. And one thing I really like doing is making videos and presenting things in like a teaching capacity, because I'm taking a theology class right now, and I find that the times that I'm most engaged with Scripture are the times that I'm going to be in charge of leading the class, or when I'm presenting information. So my goal right now, April 1st, start of the month, is to, for a year, 360 days, put out a little video talking about what I have learned in my study time, and hopefully it's useful, and if not, at least it's a way of keeping me in my Bible. So here we go. Today I felt like talking about Romans 12:2, and it's a verse that a lot of Christians quote all the time. It's a pretty main staple verse in churchianity, and it's, "Do not conform to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind." And I think that this translation that I'm currently using, this is the Bible that I carry with me, is a... Give me a second. Today's New International Version, TNIV, that I'm using. So this is just my little Bible. It's starting to break. So hopefully by the end of the year, I will have broken my Bible. Oh no, he wants to break his Bible. Yeah, well, I'd rather have a beat-up Bible that's been read than a fresh-looking, never marked-up Bible that I've opened once or twice to look like I'm studying. So I closed it now, so I don't have the verse with me, but don't conform anymore to the patterns of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. I think it's an interesting one, because I don't think that many of us have reached it yet, but we talk about it like we have. I think that we take for granted some of the ways that we end up being conformed to the world, because the way that we look at this verse is, when it says don't conform any longer to the patterns of this world, we think of patterns of this world being things that are sin and being things that are evil, and we think, well, I don't really commit the same kind of sins I used to, or I'm not I'm not in sin the way that I used to be, so I've transformed my mind. And I think on one level that's there, but that message is already being talked about throughout Romans. Paul's talking about it the entire time, but he finds a need to state it this way: to not be transformed, or to not be conformed to the patterns of this world. And I wonder if maybe the patterns of this world are things that maybe aren't necessarily evil, aren't necessarily wrong, but are keeping us from something that's a little, that's worth a little bit more. I think about it like this. If we're residents of another place, if we're residents of the kingdom of heaven, and our job is to promote the kingdom of heaven, then being conformed to this world is a waste of the time that we could be using to promote the kingdom. It's like if Mountain Dew asked you to go out on the street and promote them, and that was your job, and everybody that bought a Mountain Dew because of you, you got paid for that, and there was reward for that, and you went around wearing a Pepsi shirt. Never mind if they're affiliated, I don't know my soda facts, but Pepsi is not inherently evil. I don't know, I read some study about Pepsi causing cancer, but I don't know. But in this scenario, Pepsi isn't inherently wrong if you're already alright with soda. But it's a little bit of a waste of your time going around wearing a Pepsi shirt when your purpose is to be promoting Mountain Dew. So that's the application of this verse that I see. Maybe your Pepsi is your iPod. Maybe your Pepsi is the clothes that you wear. Maybe your Pepsi is the kind of conversations you have with your friends. And maybe your Pepsi is something wrong. Maybe your Pepsi is some kind of deep, entrenched mindset, some kind of sin that you need to get rid of. But I think more often than not, the most applicable thing is just stuff that's wasting our time. So, throughout the rest of this year, I'm going to try to cut out some ways that I'm conforming to the pattern of this world. And Jesus promises that we're going to get laughed at and spit on and whatever else for not looking like everybody. When I say that, I mean it. Don't look like everybody. You can go to youth group and be a good church attendee and a pew sitter and still look, if not internally, externally, just like the world. You can dress just like the world. You can be concerned of the things just like the world. You can be leading worship at your youth group and buying 17 magazine and figuring out what the newest fashions are. And maybe you're not promiscuous. Maybe it's not evil to look good, but that's something that's distracting you from what's really important. It's wasting your time. We don't have much time left. We're all only seconds away from dying. From the minute you're born, you are seconds away from dying. And no one knows when he's coming back. And so I don't really feel like wasting any time on stuff that doesn't matter. It's here today and gone tomorrow. And I know I do. But I think with a renewed mind, it's not just that I'm not a pervert anymore, or that there's a seagull, that I'm not a pervert anymore, or that I'm not a drug addict anymore. But I think a renewed mind means a new sense of worth, and what's worth it and what's just not worth it. So, already the axe is laid to the root, and anything that does not produce good fruit will be cut down. Let's make it applicable to our lives. Put the axe to the root of anything in your life that isn't producing good fruit. It doesn't have to be producing bad fruit. We got a kind of a weed bush growing over here, and it's not hurting anything, but It's not very productive, and it's taking up space in my yard, so why not cut it out? Really look at your life, see what you're wasting time on. Get rid of it, because we don't have much time. Jesus is coming back. Don't let him find you sitting around on Tumblr. You could be doing something that's productive for the kingdom. The kingdom is taken by the violent man, and the only way that we're gonna get our passive action on the up and up is if we nip it at the bud. So, oh, there's a train coming through. This has already been about 11 minutes. Sorry if it was boring or if I was just kind of talking. I don't know exactly what I'm going to do with this. Maybe I'll put it on Facebook. I'll definitely put it on YouTube. So I'll be back tomorrow. Thank you.